Yeah, thank you guys for coming. Just really appreciate the fans that were able to show up today for us. Really appreciate their energy. Couldn't be more proud of that locker room. Certainly some really special performance by Destiny, but the resiliency, the bounce back, how they showed up for the game today was really special after a tough stretch here. And to me, regardless of how the scoreboard showed up, I just appreciate how hard our players played, how connected they were, the next play mentality, and that's winning basketball. Those are winning behaviors, and it might not always result in a win, and we're blessed that tonight it did, but just couldn't be more proud of these young ladies.
All right, we'll open the floor up for questions. Mark, do you want to start?
Destiny, I guess you had a decent game. Congratulations. Just share with us your thoughts. What's it like when when you get on that kind of run? How are you feeling out there? And just, what's it like?
Kind of like I'm not even there fully. Like I'm in a whole different space. I'm not really thinking. I'm just moving. I'm moving intentional with like my subconscious. Like just out there hooping, and I really missed that feeling, and not even just because I was scoring so many points, but I think that we had a really, really important day in our locker room today, and it carried out onto the floor, and following, like my performance with that, it just gave me like this extra hunger and like feeling like we're not leaving here without a win.
Sean?
Dusty, did you go into that last possession knowing kind of what you were going to set up? Kind of that's you going left was kind of what you looked to do at the end of the first overtime period. Were you just thinking like I'm going right back to the well? I was that close then. I'm going to get this one to fall, and then just what went through your mind after getting fouled and having to go to the line to put things away?
Yeah, I knew I was going back left. I think from that, like you said, that first shot, it was like that short. Just knowing that I knew how to correct that. But after the foul, going to the line, I told myself, let's go home. I don't want to play a third overtime. let's go home. So yeah, that was that.
Mark?
Destiny, you mentioned an important event or something like that happened before the game. Can you and Kira share a little bit about that and maybe what the impact was going onto the floor?
Just felt a lot more connected with our team. Not to say that we weren't connected before, but I think we reached a new level that we didn't know that we could unlock today in terms of our vulnerability, in terms of how we all see each other and how we see this team and where we could go. We had two really back-to-back tough losses, and I think that there was a heaviness to how we were practicing, how we were playing, a tightness to how we were shooting and how we were confident in ourselves. And we got real today, and that's something that's really hard to do, is just be 100% real with each other and not care about feelings, but care about the growth of the team and putting the team first. So if you're hurting somebody's feelings and doing that, it is what it is. We trying to grow as a team, and I think that we made really great strides today as a team, and it showed, and I felt that, and we felt that in today's game.
I agree. I think the key word I go back to, it was real, vulnerable and real, and I think it takes courage to do that, and so I'm really proud of us as a team to be courageous and share with each other and get that next level of connectivity that really carried out today, which was a blessing to win, but also just the lightness that I think we felt on the bench in the game that we hadn't been playing with before, so really, really good strides in that area.
Sean?
During regulation, I think they took a double-digit lead, I think only once, and it was after Atunde got that second chance layup. Just what impressed, for both of you, what impressed you guys about just the ability to come together during kind of that stretch? I think you guys immediately answered with a 10-0 run of your own, or a 10-2 run, to knot things back up and just immediately stem that momentum that was in their direction.
I think just being able to lock arms and say that we're going to go out here and battle. I mean, it's highs and lows. Me and Kira talk about this all the time, but like ride the wave. Ride the wave is something that we utter to each other a lot, and I think that it's easier when you're winning, when you're up. Everything's easier when things are going well for you, but when things are going hard, who are you really? And I think that we've shown also that when things don't go in our favor, that we could battle, we could fight back. But I think that being able to do that today with what we had today, it just felt a lot different.
I think maybe not exactly during that run, but we came to the huddle a couple times and just told each other to breathe, and I think that really helped us reset. And yeah, I felt like every huddle we were together and problem solving instead of complaining or dwelling on plays. We had a really good next play speed, and I think that was really key as well.
Mark?
I'll start with you, Kira, but I want to get both your thoughts. Pressing in the full court defense really kind of seemed to turn things around. What was the impact that you two felt out there when you guys went to that defense?
I think just kind of playing without abandon. I think when you're pressing, you're taking risks, and so going for it full speed ahead, I think that really helps get us set up to be aggressive the whole time. And I think that we really do well when we're playing from defense to offense, and so I think really getting us going was really helpful.
Yeah, I just think we were hungry. Like we just wanted it. We really did want it. So to be able to take those risks and take those gambles that we might not usually take, or just it being uncomfortable for us. I think that we leaned into uncomfortability today a lot.
Sean?
I know it kind of caught up in the end, but that first 20 minutes and I think really the third quarter too, you guys played really well without fouling. Just how much confidence do you feel like that gave you guys going into those extra 20, those last 10, and then obviously the extra 10 too? Just I know fouls have been something that have kind of piled up over times in games, and just how key is it seeing like a really prolonged stretch where everybody was really kind of within themselves and constrained defensively?
I mean, I think that when we usually do end up in those situations where we are fouling, like there's a deflation to us. So I think that, us defending without fouling, like we didn't have to fight that today. And like Coach emphasized defending without fouling and verticality and just making sure we're playing as straight up as we can. So, that was emphasis definitely for today as well.
I think, just being vertical, thinking about it in practice, and then it carrying over to today was really helpful.
Any other questions for the student athletes? You two are dismissed.
Thank you, guys.
All right,
School tomorrow. Classes. Oh, yeah, you're right. My bad. What the heck?
all right,
Yeah, one more day.
one more day.
Get some sleep still.
We'll open the floor up to Coach P. Mark, if you want to start.
Robin, I guess, it sounds like there was some type of maybe team meeting or discussion or something. I guess I'm just wondering, where, I don't know if you were on hand to see this. I'm just curious what your thoughts were from, what you were hearing the players talk about. And, you kind of touched on, but what, the impact of those type of discussions in, kind of unifying a group.
Yeah, so, we've said from day one that culture is so important, and the foundation is the most important thing that we can do this year. And, just to trust the process, and you can't skip steps. And, I think, and I'm sure you'll respect this, but understanding that sometimes, what happens between those walls in the locker room is pretty just private. There's just so much, and you go through a lot as a team, and you go through some challenges and some highs and lows, and it was just really, we felt as a staff, along with our players, needed to address a few concerns, and it ended up being a really open dialogue, a lot of vulnerability, and we just felt like, we put a premium on that. If they leave here learning how to communicate, we're winning. Like in life, right? The big picture of life. If we can continue to help our players grow and learn just how to have tough conversations, that's such a huge win for them, and it's going to stay with them. But I would just say, we've tried to really be intentional about this foundation, this culture. We haven't wavered. They've really bought into that, so give them all the credit. But it was just time to have some heart-to-hearts and some real talk. And we put a premium on that over shoot-around. We thought we were going to go to shoot-around, but we got to keep first things first and the main thing. And we felt like having that conversation was far more important than getting shots up and anything else. So today was really about us, and not so much who we were playing.
Sean?
Just how proud are you of them being able to come together after, it's like opening a wound like that? It can be hard, and just having game, piggyback off of it, coming off of 3 losses. Just what impressed you most about just how the immediate kind of result of that coming away with a win, and again, just seeing the immediate gratification of it?
It takes, a group of young ladies that have incredible heart postures, high character to be able to do what we did today. And, our routines are all off. We didn't have the shoot around. It's, those are the things that I'm so proud of. The wins will take care of themselves, and we're building. It's going to take some time. We don't talk about this a lot, but we've got 4 players in that starting lineup that haven't played in the Power 5 level before. They don't understand the physicality, the speed, the athleticism, the mental toughness, the emotional stamina that you have to have at this level. And so we're getting some bumps and bruises, and we're having to learn along the way. And a lot of times, things don't go your way, and it's really easy to take a step back, when you question, is the process right? But we've got a group of young ladies, I think, really believe in our process. The results just hadn't happened yet, and we're just trying to stack, those days, and couldn't be more proud of them. But I'm more proud of them for that locker room than I am the scoreboard tonight. Now, don't get me wrong. We all want to win. I'm not a good loser. I've been grumpy lately. I mean, I've been on them in practice, but I do understand the importance of what happened in that locker room is far greater than anything that could have happened on that court.
Mark?
Excuse my voice, but points in the paint for the
Were
most.
you cheering loud?
Sorry, I kept it professional, but congratulations. Excuse me. For the most part, it seemed like points in the paint were tough to come by, but yet your group was able to kind of stay close and stick around. Was it just the 3-point shooting, or do you think there were some other factors that went into, the team being able to withstand, not being able to get production in that facet of the game?
Yeah, I think they just, they really weren't. We talk a lot about inside out for sure, whether they're threes or getting a post punch and being able to score with dribble drive, whatever that looks like. But I feel like tonight their mentality was just, let's find a way. They're a good defensive team for sure. I mean, they've been forcing teams to 20 turnovers, and they almost got us, but they're a really good defensive team. They got quick hands. They make it tough. And I feel like our players just worked for the best available shot. Obviously, us shooting the 3 as well as we did was huge. But I felt like Gifty had some big shots down the stretch that really helped us as well. So I think their mindset was, how do we get the best available shot for us?
Sean?
I'm glad you brought Gift up, because that's what I was going to go to off of this, because I know she had a just tough time finishing early. Just how important in your mind was it to go to her early, or for her to get some early in that second overtime? And obviously big in terms of her being able to go 35 minutes and a 13-8 game too.
Yeah, we had to figure out ways to score. I mean, they're a really good defensive team. And so, there's some options when we go inside with some screening action on the perimeter, and we just want to play with great pace. And, she shoots a pretty good percentage for us. So although she missed some early, I think the more she feels that her teammates still believe in her and we believe in her as coaches, you see her just continue to compete. And I thought she had some big possessions for us and really played a solid game.
Any other questions for Coach B? Mark?
I guess obviously you've kind of, seems like you've expressed confidence in this team, but I mean, you get a good win against Oregon here today. You beat Michigan State last month. How do you assess where this team is at this point, given some of the kind of the ups and downs that you guys have had so far?
Yeah, we still have a long ways to go. We got a lot of work to do. Like I said, I think we've got a handful of players, and that doesn't mean they're not Power 5 players. It just happens to be that maybe, they got overlooked on the recruiting trail, or they chose to go to a different program. But I think going through the grind of a Big Ten and how competitive it is night in and night out, and the athleticism and the talent, and the speed and the physicality, and just the mental toll of, okay, new game, new prep, understanding the scout, just the emotions of you got to get yourself ready to let it all hang out mentally, physically, emotionally, night after night, and then get yourself up and go to it's different for a lot of them. And so, we're just really, again, I know I've said this before, but really focused on one day at a time. I feel like we moved the needle in a big way today in that locker room. I think on the court, we're learning what it takes to play. We watch a lot of film, a lot of breakdown. But bottom line is we felt like we could play harder than we played in the last couple games. And I felt like tonight you saw some grittiness, some toughness, some resiliency. And that's got to be the standard that we play at consistently. And what that looks like moving forward, I have no idea. But there's a certain way we want to show up and a certain way we want to play.
Sean?
Just was hoping to kind of get your take on the defensive side of things. Just finished with 14 steals, tied for second most you've had, and I think looking over the notebook, I think only the second time it's been in 8 games. Just what impressed you about just and kind of dovetailing to the just playing within themselves. Like fouls obviously caught up late, but to really play as clean as you guys did early while also creating creating 14
Yeah.
steals. Just what pleased you about the way they played defensively?
Yeah, I thought early, just going into the half, we did a tremendous job. There wasn't a lot of fouls called either way. And then it was like the tale of, 2 halves. And the ticky-tack ones, the controllable ones add up. And we're still learning, we're pretty handsy sometimes. Like, we got to learn to continue to play defense with our feet and understand the frustrating ones, although we did a better job, they just add up over time. And then, you can't put officials in a position where they have to make a call. Like, don't even give them a chance to make the call because you're still on point. And so, it's an area that we got to continue to clean up and continue to work on. But I thought we had some stretches of some really good defense. I felt, probably the thing I was most proud of on the defensive end is I saw a couple possessions where we got caught behind the ball and we just sold out. We sprinted back, tried to find a way to get in front of the ball, make a difference, had some really good rotations. And so seemed a lot more connected tonight. Which is obviously really, really important to being able to have success.